Hello, free to play ones. I brought you here today to talk about the new Abyss, like we already did on the past, but not on how it changed or what are the new things on it, but how to solve the problems people are facing right now. If you may not know yet, the Abyss has changed. We already covered it on our channel on the previous video, but today we're gonna talk about the key factors, tips and tricks to be able to solve it with the highest score possible. Okay, first things we're going to talk about is the new blessing of the Abyssal Moon, the buff that it grants us, and it is a defense threat, okay, that decreases by 7% for 10 seconds and can stack up to 5 times, which means a total of 35% defense threat if we attack by normal, charge, or plunging attack. But there is a key fact here that we need to, for us to be able to fully develop this buff, we need to have our energy fully charged for the burst, for our burst element. What does this mean? Okay, this means that characters that rely on their ultimates or burst element to deal damage are totally nerfed on this new abyss. Just to give you a quick example of main DPS that I have, they are Diluc, Xianglin, and Keshin. Okay, for those three, and we're gonna leave Keking out of the equation, Diluc and Xianglin rely purely on the ultimate to deal insane amount of damage. Pyro Tornado is a great source of damage, but it also costs 80 energy, so it's barely impossible to not use his ultimate and rely only on Goba. Same goes for Diluc. To empower his normal attack with pyro damage, we need to use his ultimate. Another ultimate that cannot be saved for that 35% defense threat. Okay, remember, this is a threat that need to be up for 10 seconds. So we need a total of 50 seconds to fully charge this 35% defense threat. All right? Having this in mind, if you have the following characters on your current teams, you will be even. So, if you have the characters that we're going to talk about right now on your teams, they will benefit quite a lot for this buff. First one being Hu Tao. Hu Tao doesn't need his ultimate at all, as his main source of damage is his E ability, the Guide to Afterlife, where she relies on doing damage through normal plants or charge attacks. Xiao, by the other hand, is totally nerfed and it cannot be played the same as Diluc, as his ultimate is his main source of damage. Let's follow up. Gan Yu, another character which is buff on the current abyss. He doesn't need his ultimate at all. Unless you're playing a Morgana team comp, you just need to do charge shots every so and then, and it will defend threat quite easily. Following up, if you have a Tartaglia, not ideal for Abyss as being a Hydro and more as an enabler character, you will benefit, and same for Zhang Fei. You have quite some constellation, I think around C2, C4 of her, and a huge Songli Shield. There is a really nice team out there, and you can defeat the Abyss quite easy thanks to this different threat buff. So this is the first thing that you need to consider. If you have a main DPS that relies on his ultimate, his burst element to do damage, you're nerfed thanks to the current buff on the Abyss. You're not going to be able to use it at all, especially thanks to the new elemental tides that will grant you twice as much energy recharge on high tide, but not energy recharge on low tide. So your ultimate is going to be something that is going to affect it quite a lot. Okay, let's follow up. We just said and talk about elemental high and low tide. So we have it right here so you can take a look on it. Okay, there is elemental tide, as I said, that lasts for 10 seconds. During these 10 seconds, that is going to be alternative, you will gain, okay, 10 elemental on high. Okay, during high tide, when you hit any elemental particle, abilities, etc., you're gonna be restoring 10 elemental energy every 2.8 seconds. Okay, so this is quite some elemental energy it's about you're gonna be able to restore on those 10 seconds a total of 30 by this timer, 30 energy recharge, which is half an ultimate on normal characters and a little bit less for those that cost around 80. But on the other hand, during low tide, there is no energy recharge at all. You're gonna gain 0. There's no way to charge your ultimates. This means there's the next thing. For you to play the new Abyss, you need to alternate, okay? You need to alternate, and let me help you between low tides and high tides. Once you are on high tide, you cannot use your burst, okay? On high tides, you only use elemental abilities until your ultimate is fully charged and you reserve it for low tide. It is clear enough. When a high tide comes, we spam elementals abilities like this, and we save our burst or Q abilities. Once low tide comes in, we stop using elemental abilities like key from any character and we use only our ultimates. So by the time the elemental low tide finish, we have the cooldown of our ultimates and of our elemental skills. On high tide, we repeat the process. We save and fully charge our ultimate and spam abilities. And this needs to be a continuous cycle in order to mix max as best as possible the energy recharge for our team. And talking about energy recharge, on this Abyss, more than ever, we need to have good enough energy recharge levels. That's why on most of my characters, I'm running a really good piece of energy recharge, like here on my Bennett. I don't think so on Shinkyu, but because he doesn't need that much. Like he has 175 thanks to his weapon. Same I'm doing for many others. Xianglin, I'm running her as a main DPS. So she has an attack percentage gauntlet, but she still have 155 energy recharge, and I funnel the particles into her. Okay, but for the rest of my supports, I'm running either energy recharge weapons or energy recharge suns, like I'm doing here with my Kaija. Okay, I'm running another energy recharge. So it's really important that you look on the values for your supports, especially for those of you that are so precious, like Bennett Ultimate that grant that attack bonus, or those ones that cost around 80 energy per ultimate. Okay, so watch out on energy recharge. Don't think that something is completely useless. More than ever, it becomes something precious for you. Now, I put you a recording of me doing the first room of the new Abyss, and this is because we need to talk about new behavior on enemies. The new enemies behave in a different way, such as they cannot be pulled or attracted by any animo character. They have a really good resistance to stagger, so animo characters are not that useful on attracting them. They are still worth it enough to boost your elemental mastery damage, your reaction damage, and your elemental damage overall, okay? But not as an attractive tool. That's why, as you've seen, and I'm gonna play back it again, what I do is move into the room accordingly so I can track the enemies and trick his Aya into attacking us and getting stuck into a wall. If we do it the proper way, I assure you, you can be able to hit all three of these new samurais at the same time, and the same thing for the two main samurais. And following up, the last two samurais, you need to be really careful with them. If you manage to kill one of them and leave the other with around quite of XP and not finish them both pretty much simultaneously, one of them are going to heal up once again, as you just seen. So this means we need to have good burst or decent playstyle in order to defeat them both at the same time. So be careful with this and maybe practice until you get used to. So yeah, honestly, I won't make this video any longer. There's no point. Just the message and the idea I want to translate to every one of you out there is that this is the abyss that check if you are doing things correctly. Me, on my case, I wasn't doing it, and I realized just now You need to follow the meta. You cannot do what others people say about doing whatever you want, pulling for every character you desire. There is a fixed meta. You just show it. How Electro is out of the equation. How bad Kekin is currently on the games is literally useless in terms of DPS. It's Kazuha much better than Xiangling, than Kekin, for example, or the own Xiangling that they give us for free. So you need to follow a meta. If you haven't built a good cryo DPS and a good pyro DPS, you are completely screwed, and you need to work on that as soon as possible, as well as you need to work on your supports. On my part, I kinda left away my supports. I only built properly these two, and until just today I haven't ascended them to the last level. So this is my current situation. I have to work on leveling Sucrose to level 90, Kazuha to level 90, Bennett to level 90, and Shinkyu to 80 out of 90. The most important supports, and as well as the cryo ones that are left out. As you can see, this is the current state of my account, and most likely the current state of many of your accounts. So for now on, then work on 2 animo characters per site and level up them properly to boost the elemental mastery of your team. Work on a cryo DPS. You can do it either Kaya or Chongyu, but go full DPS on these 2 characters. Forget about Electro until the new Bal, the Shogun Bal comes out, and get your pyro DPSs like could be Bennett or Shangli. For the rest of the Abyss, we need to practice, practice, and practice. There is a multiple people out there that will show you how to properly trigger and attack the monster. I just show you the first part where you can actually attract the samurais. I think you can do the same thing for the Uprise of 12-3. If I'm not mistaken, let me check it. Yeah. For these 2 guys, you just need to attack the guy on the middle, and the other 2 will come to you immediately. And that's it. I hope I could be somewhat helpful. If not, tell me down below what is your case, and I'll see you in the next one.